China versus Russia, two authoritarian systems, but with key differences. China is openly communist, while Russia claims to be a hybrid democracy. The reality of these claims are noted in how each deals with dissent among its citizens. While China has attempted to obviate any revolutionary protests, China has paid less attention to the protests than its Chinese counterpart. Today we will explore exactly how each country has dealt with public outcry. As protests continue in Russia concerning the situation in Ukraine, citizens of both countries are displaying strong emotions in regard to the actions of Russia. Brave Russians who condemn the actions of President Vladimir Putin have taken to the streets waving Ukrainian flags and holding signs. These protesters have mainly congregated in Moscow and near the Kremlin. The largest outcry of dissent occurred after Russia took control of and annexed Crimea. Putin has dismissed these protests and has instead focused on political dealings with Ukrainian leadership. These protesters are not alone and have pro-Russian counterparts with whom Putin sides. Riot police have taken to the streets in response to these demonstrations, yet Putin has not made a statement concerning the present unrest. China has recently dealt with student unrest concerning the appointment of Hong Kong's government done by the People's Republic of China Security Council. Students and others support pro-democratic policies and began the strike on the 26th of September and ended it on the 15th of December 2014. These demonstrations have included hunger strikes, occupations, and efforts to raise awareness about the injustice in Hong Kong's electoral system. Police have been instructed to threaten and respond with violence to these protests using tear gas and beating citizens. The Chinese government has arrested members of the opposition for questioning, including student leader Joshua Wong, who was held for 2 days and released without any charges. Although both China and Russia have weak civil societies, both protests have shown the citizens' burgeoning desire to engage in political participation. Furthermore, China has had to deal with a much larger scale protest than Russia did concerning Ukraine because the Russian protests have elapsed over many, many months. Additionally, the Chinese government is outwardly communist and cannot support any dissent among citizens, whereas Russia is slowly allowing more citizen influence in their hybrid democratic regime. In these protests, China has used the state-controlled media to prevent the spread of these acts of disobedience, whereas Vladimir Putin has dismissed the protests and declared them to have little influence on his decision-making. While large-scale protests are rare in each country, it is important to note the movements that have accompanied the growth of public opinion in each state's infancy. Mao used the 100 Flowers campaign in China, whereas Gorbachev utilized glasnost. Although these systems are not currently in use, they are influential movements that began the possibility of allowing for these protests and political participation in civil society today.